Shock Monkey Radio is entertainment for adults, by adults, and the views and opinions expressed here do not reflect upon the sponsors or FXBG Public Radio. For additional information, please refer to the United States Bill of Rights. Stand warned. I was watching A Good Day to Die Hard, and I was wondering, after the second movie, John McClane's bosses should have given him a desk job, like guarding the evidence locker or something. I mean, it seems like every time he goes somewhere, John McClane gets all tangled up in some insane criminal endeavor. Maybe they should have just put John McClane on a desk, simply to avoid all the confusing paperwork and court appearances John McClane had to make following all of his crazy hijinks. But the more of these movies I watch, I start to think that John McClane is an agent of fate. And all these super evil criminals are inexplicably attracted to wherever John McClane is. So if he were riding a desk, guarding the evidence locker or something, some Russian mafioso and his elite team would be trying to break into the evidence locker. So when John McClane says, "How can this happen to the same guy twice?" he's got a hell of a point. Welcome to Shock Monkey Radio. I am your host, The Madman, and I got to tell you, I am behind the curve today. My internet was down, and so I'm going to have to wing it. And speaking of winging it, I'm going to tweet right now. If you can follow me on Twitter, @Denalitsaw. That's the word wasteland spelled backwards. I'm going to tweet right now that we are live. So you can go check out that tweet. You can also go check out my Instagram at SLRobbins13 on Instagram. So I'm going to post this. Tweet it. I'm tweeting it. And I'll see I got a notification on Twitter. What does it say? Nice job. People like to... my video from last week. That's fine. Okay. So yeah, also I'm looking here at the live chat. Now, usually I can't monitor live chat because it just bogs my system down and it's hard for me to switch between tabs and so forth. So I can't read the live chat, so I'm sorry. I know there are people out there. Chaz, I know you're out there. Sometimes you comment. I appreciate you watching live. I appreciate you commenting. Sorry I can't do it, respond during the show. But then again, I hate those people who be streaming and they'll comment, talking to the people in their chat. And I think that's dumb. Do your show. Be interesting without other people talking to you. It's like react videos. It's I'm not going to do that. Why? Just for the hits? Just for the hits? So I mean, nah, not going to do that. Or if you live close enough to the Fredericksburg area and you want to become an intern so you can monitor the live chat, maybe learn how to run a YouTube show as fancy as this one, learn all the ins and outs of the software, and help make my show more, I don't know, fluid, I guess. I don't know. Or interactive, I should say. So you can do that, or you can follow me on Facebook. Go to Facebook, Shock Monkey Radio Redux on Facebook. You can follow me there. Also, I have a Patreon. Please go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio and become a patron. I'd appreciate that very much. You can also become an executive producer there or even place advertisements on this show, and I'll read those advertisements. If you're like a gold company, I can sit here and say, you should buy gold and go to this website to buy this gold. Hey, do you know that gold has been going up in value for over 5 years? For over 5 years, gold has been going up in value. I think even 10 years. For over 10 years, gold's been going up in value. So see, you can place an ad here on the show, or if you just want to send me gold or Bitcoin or something like that, you can use the hashtag ShockMonkeyRadio. Use the Cash App, hashtag ShockMonkeyRadio, all one word. I would appreciate it. I also have books available for digital download on Amazon.com. Search for the author Scott L. Robbins with 2 T's and 2 B's. I got the Bunny Years, a memoir. I got the Ravings of a Madman and the Exit 13 series. So check those out. I would appreciate that as well. We went through the same shameless self-promotion. Can't monitor. Yeah, I need an intern. Can't monitor chat. Need an intern. Yeah, so we're done with that. So is EK nearby? I don't know. I was thinking about, all this hype about the balloons and stuff like that. The aliens and stuff like that. People talking about, maybe the aliens are here. And I'm just like, yeah, that'd be really cool. That'd be really cool if aliens were here. And, every now and then I'll get there, I'll YouTube and I'll type in UFO videos and see what you can find. And, there's tons of stuff people have spotted in the skies and so forth. And I think it's really interesting, but you got to understand it from the aliens' perspective. if they have been observing us, it's like, I don't think they want to get involved with us. And I think it's a real simple reason, why they wouldn't want to make contact with us. And that's because we are a perverted species. Now, let me put it like this. Say, remember that movie Howard the Duck? In Howard the Duck, there was a scene where Leah Thomas, gorgeous woman that she still is to this day, Leah Thomas tried to have sex with Howard the Duck. All right? So even if the aliens are just passively scanning our media, if some station broadcasts out Howard the Duck and they're watching Howard the Duck and they're like, oh my God, either they're going to try to kill us or screw us. So why would they want to make contact with us based just upon that movie? Think about other movies. Think about Close Encounters of the Third Kind. When the aliens come back down, they're dumping out all these people that they had on their ship. They had kidnapped over the years. Maybe they were just sick of all the sexual advances those humans were making on the aliens. And don't tell me there wasn't something going on between E.T. and Gertie. There was some bad touch going on there. Teaching him English. How did that go down? They just gloss over that. Teaching an alien English. Anyway, so I think that, it would be, if aliens came down, there would be public service announcements. Don't try to screw the aliens. The more you know, don't screw the aliens. It's like even their ambassador would come down and is like, we've seen what you humans do sexually. Now, like, throw bestiality into the mix. Some guy on his farm somewhere banging his cow doesn't know there's some alien overhead watching this thing going, that's a cow. They're going to end up milking and eating that thing. Why would they want to make contact with us? I think even their ambassador would come down here and say, hey, could you tell the humans not to try to have sex with us? We're not interested. And you may think I'm trying to be funny, and of course I am, but I think that's seriously a very real threat to a reason why they shouldn't want to make contact with us, because we're perverted. We're perverted, man. Bestiality. People having sex with animals, all different types of animals. It's so weird. Who can blame them for not wanting to talk to us? So, maybe we need to get our our act together, and then maybe we can venture to other planets. Holy cow. All right. Where's EK? All right. I know you're going to think I keep harping on this, but friggin' horses, man. Frickin' horses. We invented cars for a reason. There was a time when there were hairy horse turds all over the streets, and some poor jerk had to keep hay stocked to feed horses and put water in troughs to feed the evil things. And not too long ago, every single family had a cousin or an uncle who was kicked by a horse and has been twitchy and simple-minded ever since. We invented cars for a reason. So these people who collect horses, like some people, collect baseball cards, it just baffles me. You know what my favorite part in The Godfather was? It was seeing that dead horse head. That's simply justice. Sending a message to that Hollywood pervert is just like a perk. I like to think that the Corleone family are the good guys simply because they kill horses on general principle. And you know what my favorite part of Neverending Story is, right? It's when the horse dies. But I can't blame Atreyu or anybody in the past who had to have horses and use horses because there were no cars invented yet. But it's been almost 100 years since we have invented the car, so horses should be all but extinct but now. Just a couple existing in zoos and a few unethical scientists trying to breed them. And they're unethical because they're trying to breed horses. But no, we got more horses than we need. And that's a dangerous situation we got here. I mean, I understand horse racing because I like to think of the horses being whipped and mistreated. But do we really need to race horses? Can you not bet on dog races? or rat races. A horse almost killed Superman. Christopher Reeves, one horse, one single horse, did more to Superman than Lex Luthor, Solomon Grundy, Darkseid, and every other supervillain you can imagine. How can you not see my side of this? Horses are straight up evil, and sometimes I think the whole purpose of my YouTube channel is to get this important message out to you. Am I wrong? Horse did more to Superman than every supervillain ever. Straight up evil. All right, EK. I want to talk about this card. All right, so yeah, I've been gaming, like I mentioned, like every week I've been having a game, and I cannot tell you how many times I've giggled. I can't even. It's hard for me to look at it and not giggle because, like I said, Jonathan and I have been playing the Star Wars cards for a while, and over the last like two gaming sessions, we have been geeking out, and I'm just trying to like explain how nerdy and geeky I am to you, or that both of us are, because we're in this battle. We're playing this Cloud City decks. We both had Cloud City decks. I was the dark side, he was the light side, as usual. And so, like, I had this one site, and I had like Darth Vader and Boba Fett at it and stuff like that. And he starts deploying like all these face cards. He's got Luke Skywalker, he's got Leia, he's got Chewbacca coming out, and then this guy. He lays out Cloud City Trooper, and he lays it down, and he starts going, that's it, I've had enough. All right, drop those blaster rifles right now. Drop them right now. All right, kick them over here. You wait until Lobot hears about this. I've had quite enough of your hijinks here on our tiny little, I know it's a small mining operation, but we have a fierce security team, believe me. You are in some, wait, maybe Lobot put in a good word with Lando Calrissian for me. I'd really like that. And I'm just, all these, guys in black armor, guys in white armor, guys in green armor. I just had about enough. And he's like, go throw this droid down in the incinerator. Go put it down where the Ugnaughts are. It's like, you throw away your own trash, you damn Imperial garbage. All right, off you go. Move along. And I'm telling you, it stops the game. These are not the droids you're looking for. Seriously. That's how it goes. It's like we'll be sitting there, we're having this intense fight or something like that. Then he throws this card out and starts making jokes, and it stops the game.
Sir, we lost them.
Sir, we lost them. There's See, I got EK on it too. All right, so I'm not crazy. All right, I know we weren't just drunk. It's hilarious. It's like there's a guy named Luke Skywalker. He wants to land here. Should we let him in? Okay.
He's got the right landing codes.
He's got. It's an older code, sir, but it checks out.
That's so good. It reminds me of the whole Pedro Pascal daddy thing.
Pedro Pascal, that's.
Oh, he does a thing.
Okay.
You gotta look it up.
Okay, I guess I gotta Google.
He does a voice.
Oh, okay.
It's the whole thing.
But maybe that's where John and I like
looks
drew.
a little bit like Pedro Pascal. Actually.
Does it really? Well, my friend Robert came over. We were playing. We started talking about this card. He goes, "I had that action figure." Like, get out of town. So I don't know. John might be working up a comedy bit based upon this card, and it's like, yeah, that's a good one. And as you can see, he deploys only on Cloud City, which is kind of a drawback. But his destiny is 3, and he can move elsewhere, but then he just becomes like a regular trooper anywhere else. His forfeit's 3, which is pretty good. But I think the thing that makes his most valuable is the destiny of 3. Yeah, my destiny's 3. If you draw me as a destiny draw, it's more power than I have on my card, He's got that gun like at nipple level. We call it the letters in baseball. But yeah, it's like I have no plan on using this. It's not even loaded. But I'd be shooting you in the penis. I'd be shooting you in the penis. So you just watch yourself, Mr. Stormtrooper. I wonder if y'all look the same underneath that. Is that what they're covering up? Because
y'all all have the same haircut.
I know a guy here in Cloud City. He does everybody's hair. Look at my hair. See, he does nice little. We call it Cloud City Bob. He's very good with mustaches. Just look at that sexy Lando Calrissian. He's got a great mustache. So we all try to grow one. It's a no shave November here. Clown City. All right, so I'm not crazy. John and I are not crazy, right? That's hilarious. Okay, you can put that weird guy away because he's going to distract me if he's still on the screen.
Every topic is going to be that voice.
I'll see if I can work it in because it could make everything better. All right, so I watched a couple movies this weekend. I want to talk about them, and the first one I want to talk about is Over the Top. Wow, that classic Stallone movie, Over the Top. The Rocky of arm wrestling movies. And I have to say that's a very accurately named movie because that movie is over the top. From the horrible 80s music where he's driving in the car and he's punching the wheel. He's mad at his friend, so he's driving real fast. You know, it's like crappy 80s movies soundtrack. I mean, it's so all over the top, you know? And it's all, he's like driving down the road with the workout thing in his truck. I'm a trucker, you know, just to keep limber. I do this workout, it helps me with the arm wrestling thing. And then I go to the truck stops and I make a little money with with my nice grip strength. I just want my son back, you know. And it's all the acting, like, yeah, anything that wasn't the like actual arm wrestling matches. Me spitting everywhere. Was like just super sappy, super. Love you, boy. I want my son back. I'll do anything to get him back. And I just wow. I remember watching that movie as a kid, and watching it again, it reminded me of like watching The Greatest American Hero as a kid, and then watching it as an adult. When I was a kid, I watched The Greatest American Hero. I was like, when's he going to put on the suit? Get the suit on and kick his ass. You know, that's what I was thinking when I was a kid. All that talking stuff with Bill Maxwell, the FBI agent, oh, that was boring as hell. I watched that series as an adult, and I'm just like, I friggin' love Bill Maxwell. I'm on his side. He's like, give me the suit, jackass. You're a moron. So, and I got the same kind of vibe from Over the Top as I did, you know, it's like, this is awful, you know. But in the same vein, I probably didn't like all the drama. I was like, oh, but when I was a kid, I was probably like, oh, I hope Sylvester Stallone gets his kid back. Seems like such a nice guy. They do interesting things. When in reality, his son would be like drunk, you know. He's like, Dad, I love you. He's holding a beer in his hand. Some trucker bought him a beer. Here, kid, have a beer. Dad, you're gonna win. Woo! Son, 3 sheets to the wind. Go, Dad. That's how you make that movie interesting, is he starts drinking, smoking meth, because they're hanging out at truck stops all the time. How much for your boy for an hour? You know? But, I mean, maybe that would actually be Over the Top. Over the Top, 1 of 13 stars. Oh, my God, it's so awful. Now, I also watched a movie which was far more entertaining, and that was Black Knight. You ever seen that movie? It's a Martin Lawrence movie. Now, it reminded me back in the era when, you know, Martin, the show, was on the air, and like everyone was watching it. And it was like, you don't really have eras like that anymore. The last time we had an era like that was when Game of Thrones was on. And some could argue it's like, you know, Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. And it's like, yeah, kind of. But I mean, I don't know. It's just like Martin was so funny in his time. And I think that the Black Knight movie was a very Martin Lawrence movie. And funny in the Martin Lawrence kind of way. And I think that, you know, it was a simple premise. It's basically a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court, but Martin Lawrence. And so, I mean, it was funny. He's trying to get the band to play, and they're, you know, and they're just repeating his boom, 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 boom. He's like, no, play your instruments, jackasses. He calls himself Skywalker. You know, it's great. You know, it's way better. It's way better than Over the Top. You know, but I mean, I can only go as far as 4 13 stars for Black Knight. Because, I mean, a lot of those jokes are, you know, they're old by now. You know, we've seen it. You know, Is Martin Lawrence passe now? I don't know. What has he done lately? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess he got too, I don't know, with Bad Boys, got a little too big for his britches. I don't know. I don't know what it's like, you know. If I did like one hit movie, I'd probably retire. You know, it's like, I can't believe I was cast in a movie to begin with. You know. I'm making money off of this? Shh. I'll just go on about my business. All right. I mentioned my internet was out today, and so I wasn't able to even look over the news much. And so we're going to have like a smaller news worth knowing segment. It's just going to be me kind of, you know, flying by night, shooting from the hip, you know. And so because I was able to, you know, game this past week with Jonathan, I was able to ask him, it's like, hey, remember that story where you shit yourself? John, you remember that story? Remember that time you crapped yourself when we went down to the radio station? He's like, yeah. He's like, you mind if I tell that on my show? He's like, yeah, I don't care. What was it, like 25 years ago now? So why would you care? You know, so yeah, this happened. This conversation came up after I posted those pictures of me at the radio station, 91.5 FM, WYCS Yorktown, where I worked before I joined the Navy. And it wasn't really working. It was like volunteering in exchange for learning how a radio station operates. And so every Tuesday and Thursday, I would drive down from here, Fredericksburg. I used to live in the area until, you know, I had some issues with my car. I had to move back home up here. And so, you know, got a new car, got the car fixed. And then I was able to come down every Tuesday and Thursday to do the radio station gig. And, you know, from Fredericksburg to Yorktown, it's like an hour and a half drive, depending on how fast you're going. And so I would frequently ask, like, my friends, it's like, hey, you want to come down to the radio station? I'll do my show. You can hang out. You can do whatever. You can take my car, go see a movie if you want, you know? And they're like, yeah, just for company on the drive there and back. And they're like, yeah, sure. And so, and this happened quite frequently. Like, Jonathan would come down, and sometimes, you know, my friend Jed would come down. And there was this one time where all three of us went down, and we took Jed's car. And we're driving from Fredericksburg to Yorktown, and I think we picked John up from work. So we're leaving there, and we're heading down to Yorktown, and we're getting down, like, I don't know, near Busch Gardens, or a little before that. No, it was around Busch Gardens, and he's like, okay, well, I'm going to have to use the toilet at some point pretty soon. And I was like, well, should we stop now, you know, and pull over now, because we got time? And he's like, no, I can make it to the radio station. I'm like, okay, no problem. And so we finally, like, start pulling into the radio station, and he's like, ooh, yeah. He starts saying like stuff like, hey, you know, when you like you know it's almost time to use the bathroom, and it really starts coming and start pushing, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah. It's like, well, I'm at that point. It's like, okay, so we're pulling into the radio station, and, you know, John's like, well, you know, I think got a little turtle head coming, you know. And so, okay. And it's like, I'm just going to go over here. The station manager would hide a key, and I would go and look where he hid the key. And I looked all over. It wasn't there. And he's like, hey, you find that key yet? Like, no, man, sorry, I'm still looking. It's not here. And he's like, what? And they're both standing by the door, and I'm looking for the key. And it's like, yeah, it's not here, man. I'm going to have to find a phone and call this guy. Because this was, you know, we didn't have cell phones in our pockets or anything like that. I had a pager. You know, but what good was that to me? You know, so we needed to find a phone. So I said, hey, there's a McDonald's up here. They have a payphone there. I know that. It's like, oh, John is just frustrated, super frustrated. And he's like, ugh. So he gets mad, and he, like, kicks the door. And as he kicks the door, you hear a quick little, and John goes, all right, let's get in the car right now. So we all get in the car, and he says, roll down the windows. We roll down the windows, and it's like, everyone have a cigarette, light up a cigarette. All right, so we all light up cigarettes. And he's like, all right, Jed, you need to drive us to the closest Walmart. Scott, where is the Walmart? And I guide Jed on where to go. We get to the Walmart. You know, we're all smoking cigarettes. It's like, light another cigarette. Keeping the windows down. We get to Walmart, right? And so Jonathan says, Jed, you you go into the store, buy me some underwear and some sweatpants. Scott, you go and you call this guy and find out what the hell's the problem with this key. Like, okay. So I go to like make a phone call. Jed goes and gets the underwear and the sweatpants. I call the guy. He says, oh, yeah, I forgot you're coming down tonight. That's my bad. I mean, I guess I could drive the hour in there to, you know, and it's not like I'm telling him my friend shit his pants on the way down. You know, it's not even like I'm telling him I had friends with me, you know, because I don't know if he had a problem with me bringing other civilians into the radio station. But he's like, well, you know, the station's on automation right now. It'll keep it till morning. So, you know, if you want to take the day, it's like, okay, I guess we'll take the day. So I get back to the car, and Jed's got the pack of underwear and the sweatpants and gives it to John. And we get in the car, and it's like, all right, let's go to that McDonald's, John says. So we go over there, smoking cigarettes the whole way with the windows down. We get to the McDonald's, and then we get to the McDonald's. John carefully walks into the McDonald's, carrying the sweatpants and the 3-pack of underwear, tidy whities, and heads to the bathroom. And he turns to me and he says, hey, make sure no one comes in here while I'm doing this. And I was like, okay, no problem. So Jed comes, sits down. He's like, he turns to me and says, you think I should check my car? And it's like, yeah, you should check that passenger seat in your car. Take a bunch of napkins with you. Maybe see if you get like a glass of water or something, just in case.
Some malt vinegar.
Yes, see if you can get, you know. But you know, Jed came back and says there's nothing. It's like, I think the denim held it all in. I think he may have a point, or maybe it's just being kind for his friend who is, you know, obviously went through an embarrassing situation. But while this was happening, while John was in the bathroom, like finishing up and cleaning up, as it were, a McDonald's employee starts heading towards the bathroom. And I'm like, he's an employee. Can I really stop him? So I didn't stop him. I see the door open, and there's John with this pair of blue sweatpants in his hand, looking at this guy coming in the bathroom, this McDonald's employee, and his eyes flick over to me, and then the door closes. And I'm like, oh, man. I really failing my friends, right? Anyway, John gets cleaned up and everything. He dumps his jeans and his old stuff in the trash, and he's got a brand new pair of tidy whities and 2 extra free pair of underwear. And he said to sweatpants, and we all get something to eat at McDonald's, and we discuss what happened. And he's like, and he didn't even leave the key there. And he's like, and he's not coming down to get the key, so you're not doing your radio show. And it's like, no, and it's automated. It will wait till morning. He's like, son of a bitch. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry, bro. He says, well, we can't have come down here and me shit my pants for nothing. And I'm on your side, John. I really am. I'm on your side. And he says, let's go down to Virginia Beach and walk the strip. So we do. We drive all the way down to Virginia Beach. It's only like 30 minutes through the tunnel and everything, past Hampton. And so we get down to the strip. We start walking down the strip, and it's off season. And so like a bunch of stuff is closed. Yeah, it was like autumn. The season had just ended. And so there wasn't a whole lot of stuff that was open. But we did find an arcade, and we played in the arcade for a little while. And then we're walking like down the street, and we come across this haunted house. And there's this bored guy sitting there at the entrance, and they're like, $5 for a haunted house. And it's like, well, I guess they're open. You guys are open? He's like, yeah, we're open. I was like, all right, we'll do this. Haunted house. This is like $5 or $3 or whatever it was. We paid, and so we went into the haunted house. Now, I don't know if you know how a lot of these haunted houses work, but you'll have like a team, right? You have one team in the back, one team in the front. And the front, you pay this front team, and then this front team moves along with you through the haunted house in a parallel route, and they, interact all the gadgets and the smoke things, and they just to keep the haunted house looking lively and so forth. And they parallel your motion through this haunted house, and you just mess with them while they're going through it. But this guy was clearly working alone because he flipped the sign closed when it's like, okay, closed. And I was like, and Jen was something like, ooh, we're going to get murdered or something. He's closing right now. So we go into this haunted house. We're joking. We're not the kind of guys who get scared of this. We're just making jokes the whole time. And eventually the guy who's messing with us, he's like joking with us back, starting to get a little crude. No, we're like 19-year-old kids and stuff like that. We're adults. And so, we're almost like yelling back and forth at each other, right? And it even gets to the point where the guy says, he picks up our names, because we're talking to each other, so then he finally says, "Hey, Scott, let's see how big your colon is." And we just all like bust out laughing because it's almost like cathartic. It's like, hey, you didn't have the key. You didn't guard the bathroom. It's now your turn to have your colon explored. So we all had a great big guffaw about that. And that's the story of John shitting himself. And we went home. We had a fantastic story to tell for the rest of our lives. Oh, yeah. That's a good memory to have. I hope you're out there making memories like that with your friends, because they're great. All right. We're going to do a fly-by-night, truncated kind of news worth knowing here. Because, like I said, it didn't get into the news. So we're going to run this thing, even though, yeah, that did that last week, too. Yeah. But it's all right. So we're going to do that. It's kind of like news, because there's a thing I want to talk about first, and that's, I don't know if you've been following this drama between Matt Walsh and Dylan McDermott. No. Matt Walsh and Dermot Mulroney. No. Matt Walsh and Dylan Mulvaney. Dylan Mulvaney. Anyway, they're all dudes. All right. It's Dylan Mulvaney. All right. Now, if you know who Dylan Mulvaney is like, I'm sorry. I'm ashamed that I know who Dylan Mulvaney is. But he's that dude that like got his face surgery. He's trying to look like a woman and stuff like that. And Matt Walsh like ripped into him. What was it, last week? Yeah, I think last week. Or was it just a couple days ago? I don't know. But recently. And a lot of people have been like saying that Matt Walsh is out of line for being truthful. And but listen, I'm on Matt Walsh's side in all of this. First of all, he's right when he says that, these people are coming after our kids. They're trying to change society. They're trying to turn every kid into Dylan Mulvaney. When we should be trying to get them to look like Dylan McDermott. Men that look like Dylan McDermott. And so, I mean, it's only, what Matt Walsh has been saying is only an extension, a forceful extension of what Ben Shapiro says about that facts don't care about your feelings. All right? I don't find the truth to be cruel. All right? If the truth is cruel, then something is wrong with you. If you find the truth to be cruel, then something is wrong with you. And I think that's Matt Walsh's point in many ways. It's like, Dylan Mulvaney, you're not a girl. You can't be a girl. You will never be a girl. That's fine. But I'm sick and tired of being like, you can't like actually say that to people. Are you kidding me? They're saying the opposite things to other kids, that you can become a girl. And that's a lie. And the truth is, you may think the truth is cruel, but I'm sick and tired of trying to be nice with these people who are trying to like take over society. I'm scared of my niece. Like at some point she's going to interact with this world, with the internet, and start to think that maybe, she could be something that she isn't. And Matt Walsh has every right to be mad. Matt Walsh has every right to be rude, even though I don't think he was. I think he was just being honest. And, if you think honesty is bad, you're very sick. You're a sick individual. And all these other quote unquote conservatives, Tim Pool, I understand, because Tim Pool is Tim Pool. All right. He's a weird cat, I think. But like when the Quartering and Sidney Watson, start saying that, Matt Walsh is being mean, first of all, it's like, I can't believe anyone watches the Quartering. That show is awful. How they have more views than me is, I don't get it. Anyway, Sidney Watson, I understand. All right. But I mean, I'm just of the mindset, and I think Matt Walsh is of the mindset, that I'm sick and tired of trying to be nice to these people. We shouldn't be nice to these people. All right? They are trying to steal your family from you. They are trying to change the reality as it is. And it cannot be changed. And if you don't pretend and go along or save somebody's feelings, they're going to start calling you a bully or something like that. It's like, screw that. Screw that. All right? This isn't a grade school locker room. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm just smacking you in the head over and over again. Bullying, that would be actual bullying. Physical violence. But if it's just words, grow the fuck up. Grow up. All right? I'm sick and tired of people telling me what words I can and cannot say depending upon what situation. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. When it comes to like the medium of writing, the medium of audio entertainment, we are the artists and we need every single tool in our toolkit. So if I want to drop an F-bomb, I want to drop an F-bomb, I'm going to drop an F-bomb. You need to become an adult and realize that boys can't become girls. All right, you need to realize that you cannot become anything you want to be when you grow up. I wanted to be an astronaut, but you know what? I don't have great eyesight. Number two, I didn't want to go to college. All right. So if you think that it's at the point where we should be nice to these people, when they're taking over the culture, when they're passing laws, when they're, putting these kind of books in the classroom and the teachers are all trying to push some weird social agenda instead of teaching them what they need to know, because it's at the point where you can go ask these people on the street, it's like, how many stars in the American flag? And people don't friggin' know. They're not learning what they need to be learning in school. What they're learning is this social ideology. That needs to stop because it's all lies and it's narcissistic me search. It's me search. And that's why you have all these people like they're constantly thinking only of themselves. I think the problem is basically like you shouldn't let kids use smart access to the internet till they're 18. I think that should be a law. All right. And you want to sit there and argue, it's like kids, these kids could be young entrepreneurs by the time they're 16. It's like, I don't care. Kids should be out making forts. They should be out riding their bikes, making jumps. They shouldn't be sitting on their butt watching iPads, making their own videos. And their own videos are, it's narcissistic stuff. You can argue that this show is the problem. Shows like this, it's just me ranting into the internet for an hour every week. And who's it for? Who's it for? It's only for me. I can't make a living at this right now unless you go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. And this is just basically me just jacking it. It's mental masturbation on my part. And sure, you could be right. You could be right. But I don't care. I think I have important things to say. I think I have funny stories to tell. Anyway, so we're going to go over the news just a little bit. I just wanted to rant about that a little bit. It's funny because, I usually check out these news stories and, I go through them because I do want to cover them. I think we should know about them. But I mean, in many ways, it's kind of a security blanket. It's like, oh, good. And just in case I can't rant about something for an hour, I'll have this news I could pull up around me, keep me warm. It's kind of good to wing it every now and then and go at it because it turns out I can really talk if I wanted to, if I focused on it. But the funniest thing is I'm usually tired after a show. It does take a little bit out of me because, I'm not really a performer, more of a writer. A face for radio kind of guy. All right, you'll remember last week I talked about Pete Buttigieg and how he sucks at his job. So let's talk about this news story that broke, I think last night. Pete Buttigieg oddly asked to take a reporter's picture after dodging her questions about the Ohio derailment. All right. Secretary of Transportation of the United States of America, Pete Buttigieg, raised eyebrows on Tuesday when he refused to answer reporters' questions about the crisis in East Palestine, Ohio. I'm corrected. Before oddly asking to snap a photo of the journalist. Reporter, forgive me, Jenny Taylor approached Buttigieg while he walked outside in Washington, D.C. identified herself as a journalist from the Daily Caller News Foundation, and asked what he had to say to the folks in Ohio, East Palestine, who are suffering right now in the aftermath of the toxic train derailment that leaked dangerous chemicals in the air. So he said, I'd refer you to dozens of interviews I've given today, and if you'd like to arrange a conversation, you should reach out to our press office, Buttigieg said. Buttigieg told Tear that he would not have a conversation with her, that he was just walking down the street, but the reporter did not stop attempting. You don't have a message for them, she asked. I do, and I shared it with the press many times today, and I refer you to those comments. He fired back. Tear responded, mind sharing it with us? He declined, repeating that he would not answer her question because he was taking some personal time. Right now, I'm taking some personal time, and I'm walking down the street, he said. Tear then asked if he planned to visit the Ohio town, which prompted Buttigieg to reach for his cell phone, and then pointed his phone at the reporter and asked if he could snap a picture. Can I get a photo of you? Buttigieg asked. The reporter can be heard giving permission before the video cuts off. Buttigieg's press office did not immediately respond to a series of questions from Fox News Digital, including why he wanted to take the reporter's photo. Tear posted video of the incident, and it quickly went viral, piling up 1.6 million views overnight. I asked Secretary Buttigieg about the crisis in East Palestine. I guess he didn't like that, so he took a pic of me. And so, I'm just doing my job, sir. She wrote into the caption of the video. Media critic Steve Krakauer was among the people who found Buttigieg's response unusual. Quote, this is totally weird and shows the current administration's disdain for journalists. Imagine if Elaine Chow, did this during the Trump administration, Krakauer tweeted. Let's see if the corporate press colleagues speak out on behalf of a reporter doing her job. Fox News' Harris Faulkner responded, why the Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg need a picture of a member of the free press? Is he trying to be funny, or is something else at play here? Targeting journalists are allowed to speak in public with officials who are in public. The Norfolk Southern Railroad freight originally derailed on February 3rd, but it was not until 3 days later that officials conducted a controlled burn of the toxins inside the cars in order to avoid an explosion. Following the burn, black smoke tainted the community as toxins like vinyl chloride, hydrogen chloride, and phosgene filled the air. And the Biden administration and Buttigieg have been widely criticized on their handling of the toxic spill. Like, why, yeah, you're not going there. Biden's going to Ukraine? Why? Anyway. Quote, with both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris preoccupied in Europe, celebrating an endless war, just who's running the show back here at home? Definitely not pothole Pete Buttigieg. Now, America's incompetent transportation secretary has been utterly MIA, and in just 2 years, he's aimlessly had presided over multiple airline fiascos, chaos in America's shipping ports, and a supply chain nightmare that is still ongoing, and now a disaster in East Palestine, Ohio. Fox News' Sean Hannity said on Tuesday. The Biden administration and Pete Buttigieg specifically had absolutely failed on this Ohio environmental disaster, Senator Eric Schmidt from Missouri said on Sunday Morning Futures. Yeah. So, yeah. It's like I want to go to Pete Buttigieg and say, what would you say you do here? I'm a people person. I have people skills. Yeah, it also reminds me of like when you see those videos of people online. It's like, I'm filming you, and then some other person, I'm going to film you, you crazy lady, and then there's like, oh, and then that crazy lady pulls out her phone and starts filming herself being crazy, or someone else filming her being crazy. Like your footage, it's going to show a better angle. You know. Or it's a possibility, he wants to target this journalist for some nefarious reason. I think that's, pushing. I think it was just like, I don't know, Pete being an idiot. Anyway. So, yeah, that guy is not doing his job. I think we all know that. I hope you take that and put that in your pocket for the polls when it's time to vote. Democrats suck at this. I'm not saying Republicans don't suck at it, but they're not as bad. They'll actually try to do their job. Anyway, let's talk about Biden stumbling again. Biden stumbles and falls while boarding on Air Force One. This is becoming a bad habit. Biden appeared to trip and fall on Wednesday while he's climbing the steps to board Air Force One in Warsaw, Poland, according to a video of the incident. The video shows Biden falling near the top of the staircase on the airport tarmac before catching himself, turning to wave and entering the aircraft. It remains unclear what may have caused Biden to trip on the steps. He probably tripped on his old age. The incident occurred shortly after the president wrapped up his trip to Eastern Europe to visit Ukraine and Poland. Biden is slated to return to Washington, D.C. on Wednesday evening aboard the plane. The White House didn't immediately respond to requests for comment. Why would they? You got the footage. What else is there to say? Biden's apparent fall on the steps leading to Air Force One comes nearly 2 years after he similarly fell on the steps at Joint Base Andrews Air Force Base. Following the March 2019 fall in which Biden was filmed tripping on multiple steps, the White House said he was doing 100% fine and blamed the stumble on gusty conditions. Quote, "It's pretty windy outside. It's very windy. I almost fell coming up the steps myself. He was doing 100% fine," White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre told reporters at the time. Nothing more than a misstep on the stairs, White House Communications Director Kate Bedingfield. On Monday, Biden traveled to Kiev, Ukraine, and met with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky in a surprise visit. "Oh, you surprised me, Joe." The president reaffirmed his steadfast support for the war-torn nation during the short trip. Biden then visited Poland, where he met with Polish President Andrzej Duda, and again expressed support for the region. 1 year ago, we're bracing for the fall of Kyiv, Biden remarked during a speech in Warsaw. "Well, I've just come from a visit from Kyiv, and I can report Kyiv stands strong. Kyiv stands proud. It stands tall. And most important, it stands free. I should have whispered. It stands free. It stands free, folks. It stands free." Anyway. Yeah, so obviously these Democrats are very concerned about what's going on in Ohio. All right. We got about 10 minutes left. Let's talk about this prostitution crisis. This one's been calling out at me, but I figured, let's wait towards the end. So let's see what this is all about, because it's not like I pre-read this. So, as California police fight rampant prostitution, Johns line up like they're at a fast food drive-thru. It's so disgusting. You know, it's...
You mean we don't have to listen to them talk?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I like women. And I want them to like me for something other than my wallet. I don't understand paying for sex.
I'm making the point that the type of customers that are lining up are the kind that don't like them.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so let's go through this news story. California's rampant prostitution problem has Johns lined up for sex like they're at a fast food drive-thru, police said as they announced a series of sting operations that netted dozens of arrests. How complex does this sting operation need to be to catch these guys? Anyway, authorities in San Diego County arrested 48 people in trafficking and sexual exploitation investigation across San Diego and the National City from January 9th to February 10th. Young women being openly trafficked in broad daylight with individuals paying for sex lined up like they're going through a fast food drive-thru. San Diego County District Attorney Summer Stephen said at a news conference on Tuesday, "It's unacceptable. It's an unacceptable situation." San Diego Human Trafficking Task Force led Operation Better Pathways, assisted by law enforcement officials at the local, state, and federal level. Officials carried out a total of 17 stings in the county, focusing on areas such as Dalbergia Streets in San Diego, Naval Base San Diego, obviously, Roosevelt Avenue in National City, and the Los Angeles Times reported. What I saw was what drove me to be a prosecutor in the first place. Stefan, maybe, added. What I saw was a look in the eyes of human beings like they are products which are hardly any clothing on. Lines of cars if there's some kind of like buying a hamburger at a 24/7 place. But these are human beings. Correct. Yes, that's why prostitution should be illegal. Anyway. Total of 39 people arrested for misdemeanors, blah, blah, blah. And this is in California. You know, they've been busy. At least. I wonder, if like San Diego is more conservative than like LA and so forth. Yeah. But I mean, I don't get dudes who pay for sex. I don't get it. Anyway, let's see if there's anything else. See if there's anything else like that we could chuckle at real quick before we get out of here. Kelsey Grammer, remember his friend Christy Allen. Yeah, sad. Oh, here we go. Huge moose kicks Alaska woman in her head after sneaking up on her. This, like horses and like moose, all the very dangerous creatures. A woman in Alaska was kicked in the head by a moose while walking her dog last week, and it was all caught on camera. So if the dog was there, it seems personal. Maybe he couldn't reach the dog. That doesn't make sense. He could reach the dog. Anyway, I thought someone had been this is a quote. I thought someone had not been paying attention and hit me with a bike or something. Tracy Hansen told KTUU. Put my hands up to my head and I'm like, I'm bleeding. Then she looked up and realized she'd been kicked by a large moose that she and her dog walked past earlier. What'd you say to the moose? You must have said something. Quote, knowing that the moose was somewhere behind me and now here's this moose in front of me and I'm like, was that the moose? So you got spun around. Oh, damn, Hansen said. The incident may have been hard to believe if it were not for video captured by fellow Anchorage resident Kate Timmons. Oh, God, you guys, this moose is chasing this person. Timmons starts the video by saying, why? I just don't understand. Why film when you can help? Watch out, Timmons yells at Hansen as her family is passing by in a car as the incident unfolded. Then she shouted at the moose to get going and asked Hansen if she was okay. Damn. My husband was able to pull her off the snowbank so he could get her in the truck. Okay, this must have happened really fast. So he get her in the truck and with her dog and kind of get her out of the way. Yeah, load her up in a tank and get away from that thing because you need a tank to beat a moose. Timmons told KTUU, quote, it definitely seemed unprovoked from our standpoint. It happened so fast that it's just a matter of like getting her out of the situation, getting her help, making sure, my big thing was that she didn't have head trauma, that there wasn't a bleed or something. Hansen is still recovering from his injuries, according to NBC News. She said the incident will not stop her daily walks with the dog. Well, yeah, the dog has to poop. My God. See, this is what I mean. Moose aren't like, they're wild. All right? It's somehow like people forget that, especially like in rut. I know it's probably not rut right now. When those creatures rut, they get like really, really mean. And that could have been what it was. The moose is sitting there and the woman's walking by with her dog. The dog looks at the moose. The woman looks at the moose and the moose is like, what you looking at, bitch? Yeah, you better walk. Hey, you just come up and like kick him right in the head. I'll fuck you up any day of the week.
Who do you think you are?
You gotta, sometimes you can't make eye contact. You make eye contact. They consider that an act of aggression. I hope she's okay. I hope there's no head trauma. Don't think I'm callous for laughing at this, but hey, who gets attacked by a moose? It's like shitting yourself in front of a radio station. It's like how many people get a story like that? Anyway, so this is going to be the end of the show. I want to remind you again that I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron. I would appreciate it very much. I also have social media. You can follow me at DenalitSaw on Twitter. That's the word wasteland spelled backwards if you're into T.S. Eliot at all. Shock Monkey Radio Redux on Facebook and at SLRobbins13 on Instagram. I also have a Cash App. You can Cash App me money using the cash tag Shock Monkey Radio, all one word. Shock Monkey Radio, all one word. I also have books available for digital download on Amazon.com. Search for the author Scott L. Robbins with 2 T's and 2 B's. I got The Bunny Years, a memoir, The Ravings of a Madman, and the Exit 13 series. So this is going to be the end of the show. I hope it wasn't as horrible as I thought it would be. I don't think it was. I think it was pretty funny. So, and that's usually the point. You got to laugh to keep yourself from crying, especially the way the world is today. So this is going to be the end of the show. This has been Shock Monkey Radio. I'm the Madman, and I love you.